I'm Steve Biskey, and I'm here today to talk about the top 5 mistakes that auditors typically make when they first get involved in data analysis. If you're in the audit and compliance field, you know that data analysis is taking the profession by storm. Whether it's just simple ad hoc data analysis to find problems or fraud in the organization, or movement towards continuous auditing, data analysis technology and the use of data analysis techniques is becoming more and more common. I work with a lot of organizations, and I've been doing data analysis for almost 2 decades. And in my personal opinion, there are several very simple and correctable mistakes people make when they first get involved in data analysis technology. Here are the top 5. Number 1, a lot of people when they get involved in data analysis focus on software. And they pick some software that's related to the data analysis they want to perform. And they focus on getting trained in that software, and they leave it at that. And I think that challenge with this, taking a training approach, is we lose sight of the fact that when we're applying data analysis, we're making a fundamental change to the way we audit. We need to think about this less in terms of training and more in terms of development. So the number one thing you can think of and look at in your own program is, have we merely trained people, or have we created a developmental program that includes the assignments we put auditors on, how we coach and mentor those professionals as they're learning their data analysis technology, and the way that they use these technologies in our environment. Training versus development. That's the number one mistake. The second mistake I see fairly commonly is one that I'm going to call scattered analysis. And what I mean by scattered analysis is we hear so many great stories of ways that we could apply data analysis. Whether it's a fraudulent type scheme where I want to look for employees that are set up as vendors and getting paid as vendors in the organization, or ghost employees in my HR payroll file, or other types of exciting fraud schemes. I might start to get excited about, hey, let's do this analysis, and now let's do this analysis, and what about this other analysis over here? And the thing I'd encourage you to focus on is, we know that when we first get involved in data analysis, data acquisition and the validation and preparation of that data so we can do our analysis is time consuming. So rather than taking a scattered approach to data analysis, I'd like you to think of the word focus. Once you have that data for the analysis you want to perform, the next analysis, try to see what else you can do with that data set. Take advantage of the effort you've already put into acquiring, preparing, and normalizing that data, and focus your analysis as opposed to being scattered. The third thing that I see, the third mistake that people often make when they first get involved in this, is what I'm going to call jumping off the deep end. I worked with a lot of organizations where some of the early analysis they want to do is so complex, it's so time consuming, that the risk of someone late in the process making a mistake or doing something that frustrates them is going to creep up is very, very high. What I'd recommend is focus on the simple stuff first. You're going to have the opportunity to do the more complex analysis later on. But by focusing on the simple stuff, you're giving people good assignments in simple terms in areas that they're able to tackle with the knowledge that they have. And only later, once they have more experience, can you start to get into the deep end of the pool and work on some of the more complex analysis. The fourth item that I see that causes frustration and causes people to waste time when they first get involved in data analysis is this desire to independently do things and, as a result, recreate the wheel. The reality is data analysis and audit and compliance has been around for a long time. And there are lots of resources that we can go to for whether it's ideas for test, even code for whatever software package that we're using. So we don't necessarily have to start from scratch. This will both expedite the process as well as give us insight as to what other people are doing in the industry. So rather than recreating analysis that someone else has done, before you dive in with a particular analytic, check with some of the forums, check with the user forum for the software vendor you're providing. Look at some of the auditor resources we have at the IIA or SACO websites. See if anyone has done the analysis you're looking to do, and leverage the learning of the community as a whole before we try to start building from scratch. And the final mistake I see a lot of people new to analytics make is sometimes the successes we see early on are so inspiring that we get a bit full of our own self-assessment of our skills. And as a result, we don't get the checkup. And this is no different from getting a health checkup from a doctor. I may still feel fine, but it's important for me periodically to go in and get my teeth looked at and to have a physical. And even if my body's feeling good, get a second opinion just to make sure that there's not anything hiding behind that I'm not aware of that could be creeping up on me. And the same thing applies to your data analytics program. The fifth mistake we see people make is they're so focused internally that they never bother to have someone come in and take an independent look at what they're doing and provide advice. And if anything, if there are any bad habits that are starting to form, be able to correct and deal with those bad habits before they become commonplace and affect our program in here. If you're looking for assistance in any of this, if you want a checkup to make sure your program is effective, please give us a call. We're happy to help.